Now, the national chairman for the Association of Road Contractors says government owes road contractors about 1.6 billion Ghana cedis for road maintenance works they have executed. They attribute this to the award of enhanced projects by government in 2016. Daniel Ato Agro and Stephen Kati are national chairman and Accra regional chairman of the association, respectively. They're here with me for a discussion. Great to have you here, gentlemen.
Well,
this issue of road funds and payment, not payment, we've been having this for quite some time. That's what we are here to discuss. But first off, let's discuss the quality of our roads. Why do we have pothole-ridden, bad roads across the country? I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians want to know. And we have you, the contractors, here, so you can tell us.
Yeah. First thing I want to say good morning to your viewers. And rather to continue that, it's not rather unfortunate that our roads are so bad within the first two rains. That shows the level of efficiency in the road construction industry. You know, road construction is a procedure. So if you fail to follow the procedure in the input, the output will become the same thing.
But our understanding is that some of the contractors, you go for loans,
Yes.
make the roads, produce a certificate to government that, oh, I'm done, give evidence of your work, then you're paid.
Exactly.
So I'm not getting the argument of input here.
You know, the contractor, you are awarded a project, and then you go in for a loan, get all the, you have the equipment, workers, and then the input in terms of materials and everything. You start the project. And according to the agreement, you are supposed to have been paid every 90 days. That's every 3 months you are supposed to be paid.
By government.
By government, or the agency that gives you the project. But when it takes a year for you to be even paid, so what happens? Meanwhile, the bank is not ready to give you additional loans to continue sinking into the project. So the project comes to a stop. Meanwhile, road construction is not like building, where when you close down the place, nobody uses it. But road construction, you work to a certain level. Let's say the first level, that's before you prime, you put the base material. And then you leave it for 7-8 months, you have not been there. While motor cars are using the road. And the fine material is being destroyed. And then you are paid. And you go back. The natural thing is for additional material to be placed. But because most of our people are not going to, they know that they're not going to be paid for it, they try to at least do something to improve the quality of the road. But then it can never be 100% again.
Let me come to you, Mr. Atati, because I have seen roads that have been constructed, you know, cordoned off, maybe another lane, nobody uses it. Finely asphalted road, I mean, very beautiful. A few huge trucks go over the road and it starts melting. Is that also a case here? Or this really has to be at the doorstep of the contractor? Are we doing a good job on our roads in Ghana?
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to greet your viewers. In actual fact, a road construction is a progressive activities. It's a methodological activities. But very unfortunately, road bitumen doesn't like water and sand. As the chairman has said, you start the work, the base is not strong. And after the primary sale, 21 days, you have to lay the secondary sale. But very unfortunately, the payment issue will never allow you to go into that particular activities. And before you go back, there's a lot of things which, you know, gone bad.
So basically we are saying that the terrible roads we have in Ghana is as a result of a whole system that's not working effectively.
It's not working. You see, every time they've been blaming local contractors. And last time I invited people to go and look at the Asikuma Bebe Road, which is being done by an international company.
Okay.
But because that road payment has not been effected procedurally. The road has failed. From kilometer 00 to the whole area have ended. They are patching the road now, an asphalt road being patched just 2 years after it being constructed. Look at our roads that have been engineered during the enhanced projects. Go to Spinters Road, from the market up to Sakumo Junction. The road has failed because, one, the base is not stable to carry that amount of heavy material. So how do you blame the contractor?
So is the government clearly understanding, both the current and previous governments understanding this? Because the concern for many is that we have bad roads, they lead to accidents, they lead to the loss of lives. Do the politicians really understand this? You sit with them, you talk to them every day.
If we can stop putting politics into construction, then things will be okay. Why do you just, without proper engineering studies, you award a project? You force a project to be awarded because you want to look good. Why should you do that?
And why should the contractors take a contract like that?
You are a businessman in the first place.
But you also should have
and you do investment.
People at the back of what you do,
yes,
and the interest of people.
We do that, but then, you see, you don't just go to the project by yourself. There's the engineers and whatnot who are advising government. What advice have they given to government about the project? That's what the question you should ask me first. If the advice they gave to government on the project is false, it will lead to the collapse of the road.
But don't you as contractors also have the opportunity to give government feedback on the work? I'm sure you sit, you have
You must have been hearing about contractors having variations upon variations. Fluctuations and whatnot. That's the cause of the variations. When you meet the problem, you tell them, here's the problem. They say, oh, the budget cannot cover it, so go ahead. What do you do?
All right, gentlemen, so the issue of payment of road contractors has been in the news for some time. Yeah. Especially when this government took over power. There were issues of, there was even a threat of a demonstration by some road contractors. Now, the government says, this was in October 2017, that it had disbursed over 1 billion cedis to road contractors. And early this year, when the president met the press, he also indicated, in fact, let me just quote him, quote, "I'm being asked to pay contractors, I'm paying them." And he says, in January this year, we've dispersed 125 million out of the remainder of 600 million to the contractors, I beg your pardon. That's according to the president. Then he says, additionally, we have paid 82 million of the 1.2 billion loan contracted by the previous administration, for which the road fund was used as a collateral. Help us understand really what your concerns are now, since the government says that it's disbursing funds.
Yes. To tell the truth, there are 4 agencies that are working for on behalf of government. We have the road fund, urban road, highways, and feeder roads, and then the cocoa roads. All these agencies owe contractors. If you total all of them, I'm sure we'll be getting to about 4 billion. What your question is about is only road fund. Even road fund, as at the beginning of 2016, the total debt that we made there was 875 million. And unfortunately, the fund was held to UBA. And because the petrol levy dropped, so payment became very difficult. So what was done by the ministry was to at least re-engineer that loan by moving the fund from UBA to Ghana Commercial Bank. So in January, as the president said, some payments were made. And then I think last month another payment was made, which is true. But what is the debt is not static. As you pay, people continue to work. So currently, the accrual at road fund, I'm sure, is about 1.7 billion. Although payment has been made. So as they pay, people work. Because we are business people. So we receive money, we don't sit on it, we go back to work. So if the payment is actually done at least on a monthly basis, you see that at least most of the projects that are around would have been done. But you see, the priority, we have to talk about our priority of government policy. How do we do enhanced projects and put them on road fund, which is a maintenance fund?
So what do you want exactly? Because for somebody sitting at home, yeah, like you've just said, it's a business. I mean,
Yes.
it's a cycle. So while some are taking up new businesses, some are getting paid, and the cycle runs on and on. So really, I mean, what does the Road Contractors Association want?
There are priorities which the government has to look at. We have routine maintenance, periodic maintenance, and then the others. And it's for government to at least prioritize routine and periodic maintenance. That keeps the existing roads in a good shape. But if you ignore it and go and do enhanced projects, which are the major of the cost of the debt rising, because those projects were awarded the last half of 2016, and the certificates started coming in 2017 to sort of increase the debt position. So until government is able to sort of grandfather that aspect of the debt, either by going for a road bond or something, so that at least it takes off the bulk of that amount, so that it will leave the road fund enough money to do the road maintenance for which it has been established.
Okay.
The situation will not change.
Mr. Atachi, what about you? What do you recommend? What do you seek?
Yeah, in actual fact, we are partners in development. That's any government in power, we are partners with them. Really, the communities or the people need a road, but they give the road or they award the contracts at the time which they knew that time there's no money for such a project.
Maybe if the contractors decide, we need to find out if you have money before we take up such contract.
Oh yeah, these days they are not giving the mobilization again. For a long time, no mobilization. So you have to fund the project yourself.
And I'm saying, so if all of you decide that until government is able to give you evidence of funds for these roads, you're not going to take up the project.
Oh no,
that is what we want to do. In October last year, there was an advert that government put up that they wanted contractors who could do 30% of the project before they award the project to them. And then we as an association went to come and said, look, this policy will not help, because one, it's the same contractors that you owe that you want them to provide this. Why don't you pay down the debt so that money can be used, so that clause will not be there, because you'll be discriminating against some of the contractors in the country. So that means if you don't have this, you have equipment sitting down, you don't have money to finance 30%, you can't do it, you cannot operate.
So what's the way moving forward, gentlemen? What should we do first off, for the people who are using these roads every day, the quality of our roads, what should we do to change the story?
One, the debt position should be looked at seriously, because it's the same contractors that are giving the projects to. They will start, do about 20%, and then the work stalls again. Why don't you pay down this loan, find a system or engineer something to pay down the loan, then from there on, you award these projects to them, so that at least they become fluid. Because, you see, the issue is not affecting only the contractor. It's affecting the economy of the whole country. These contractors work in rural areas and whatnot. Their workers have hired houses there. They have credited food from the villages, and they are now sitting somewhere else. They owe all those people. So whatever happens to a contractor, it's not only the contractor, it goes round. It affects everybody. Equipments are there, we cannot maintain them. We don't have money to maintain them. Sometimes, because they are not things that you can easily move, it sits in the bush, and bushfire comes to burn them. So it's a serious problem, and the earlier government pays attention to resolving the problem of the construction industry, the better. Otherwise, the industry will continue to go down.
Mr. Atati?
Yeah.
Would you want to add something?
Yeah, in actual fact, again, the government have to not to paint the contractors as we are trying to be against them. No, that is not our intention. Our intention is they should listen to us, we listen to them. Because in a construction business or industry, we are all mature people. We cannot just join a queue, say we are causing demonstration, we are doing that. You know, I think that is not the issue. If a contractor want to go on road for demonstration, it's like a whole army. Like a soldier is going to demonstration.
And this issue is really affecting you, some of you.
Oh, yes. Look, people are dying. As I'm saying now, one of our regional chairman, that's the Upper East, is in the fridge now, 2 weeks ago.
And you can closely relate it or link it to the issue of
so
debt.
A lot of our members are, stroke patients now. So, in fact, we are appealing that they should give a priority to this issue. One contractor can feed a whole lot of mouth, you know.
Thank you very much for your time here, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. You have some final words quickly?
Final word. You see, not that we are not assisting ourselves. You know, we invited you for a program on Thursday. That's a company that is trying to assist us finance projects so that there will not be delays. So it's for government to sort of assist or approve the work of this Eclipse investment.
Okay.
Yeah, Eclipse, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
They are ready to back us so that we can have fun too.
Great to have you here. Daniel Ato Agro, he is National Chairman of the Association of Road Contractors Ghana, and Stephen K. Atati is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.